Hey sweet friends, welcome back to my channel. My name is Maylene Call from Mrs. Call's Campers. If you're new here, I am a first year kindergarten teacher. I actually taught first grade back when I lived in Tennessee, but my husband is in the military, so he's stationed in Northern California and I'm teaching kindergarten for the very first time. Today I'm going to be doing an in-depth classroom tour with you guys. Hopefully you saw my setup videos. I've been posting one every single day. If not, check the playlist up in the I button. I always think it's kind of cool to see the process on how a room comes together. So this is my classroom, just a disclaimer. It's not perfect. It's also December. I want to say we started the year virtual and then we went hybrid. So I did have students in the classroom for a little while and now we are completely back to virtual. So I'll kind of explain how we use the room during the tour, but just keep in mind my room doesn't look the way it would if we were not in a pandemic. I don't have my full flexible seating out here in the room, but I think there's still a lot that I can show you and go in depth with. Before we start, I want to say thank you so much for liking, commenting, and subscribing. It really helps me out. And I also wanted to say that my room is not perfect, and as we go through the classroom tour, I want you to remember it's not perfect. Things aren't 100% where they should be or the way I want them, but that's just how it's always going to be. My classroom was set up kind of in a rush, so I still have a lot of things from the old teacher that are still in this classroom that I haven't gone through yet, and there's spots that are messy. My floor hasn't been vacuumed, so this is a real classroom. This is exactly the way we left it, except I did hang up our writing anchor chart. Other than that, this is just what my classroom looks like. It's not staged in any way. There are things everywhere, so keep that in mind. I'm showing you a real life classroom. I do have an Amazon store where I link a lot of things that are in my classroom. So if you check out my Amazon storefront and you don't see something and you want to know where it's from, let me know. I guess it's only fair that we start at the door. My O in choice fell down. I wanted to hang it back up before I did the tour, but it just didn't happen. So like I said, real life, I am holding them up with command strips. I just needed more command strips on the O. This is a sign that I made my first year of teaching. I got this wood, I think, from Michael's, and then I used my Cricut to put the Welcome Sweet Friends on there. This sign is from Simply Stained shop. I'll link her below. So I have this little bulletin board that, to be honest, I don't really use for much. I do have numbers for the school so I can call. I also have a little fairy door here. It's kind of supposed to be our desk fairy, even though we don't have desks. I hung my phone on a nail and it's a little bit sketch. This is my printer. I love that our classrooms all have printers in them. It was actually pretty tricky. I wasn't sure where to put it at first, but I like it to be over here because I can print something and then grab it on my way out the door to go to the office and make more copies of it. In this little thing, I keep papers that I copy most often. This is just stuff that I sent home at one point and thought I might want to print again. And then some Astro Brights. And normally I have extra copy paper in here, but it's empty. Right on top, I have hand sanitizer. My kids get hand sanitizer before they come to me, but sometimes I stand out there and squirt them anyway. And then this is where I keep my keys. So I have my lanyard in here right now. This lanyard is from Of Hands and Hearts. It's called the Maylene lanyard because I worked on the design with her. So this will be launching in January sometime. I'll let you guys know if you follow me on Instagram. So normally, of course, I'm wearing my lanyard, but I didn't want it to be loud during the video. So usually my keys are the only things in there. I just like to keep my keys by my door because I really need a space for things, otherwise I will lose them. I tried to keep them like in my backpack, and I like them by the door. Also by the door I have this, I don't know what it's called. It's like a portable thing that you can roll. I use it just to take balls and things out for recess, and there's some binders that the teacher before me left here that I didn't know what to do with, so I threw them under there. I have this, which is what we use when we are doing fire drills, and then some random things in here that never really found a home. And then these are just some files. Mostly these are things that the teacher before me left, so I just kept them over here because I didn't want to keep them with my stuff. This is the back of my bookshelf, which I'm only showing you because I cover it in regular bulletin board paper. I do have one student who is kind of the one who would kind of like grab and just pull at it because he didn't want to go home, and so that's why it looks like this. Otherwise my kids don't really touch it. I have a little dot right here, a little sit spot I guess is what you'd call it, and this is where my kids line up. They just put their feet right here, and then the students line up behind them. They don't line up on this line. This really gross duct tape strip was what the teacher before me used to have them line up on, and I tried to rip it off, and now it looks like that, and I don't think it's ever gonna be clean, but I do have my students line up on this dot and just go straight back, and they don't ever bother this. Okay, moving on from the door, this is the bulletin board that I normally hang all of my students' work on. I was too lazy to take off these little ornaments that they did. It was paired with a really cute wreath activity, but I sent that home, so now we just have some random ornaments on the board. I also painted this white. Next, I want to talk about these little light switches. They are from Dollar Tree. No, they don't match my color scheme. I really don't care. They switch on just like that, and I use them for the girls and the boys' restroom. My policy is that students can just go to the restroom whenever they want, but if the light's on, then they have to wait. All right, next we have this little shelf. This is from Michael's. This is from Target. This normally has Band-Aids in it. My kids can just grab a Band-Aid if they need one. Tissues, they can grab if they need. Hand sanitizer, they can grab if they need it. Next are these bins. I did buy all these bins. They were super cheap from Walmart. I like this one because it has a faux wood cover. It has buttons that I never put together. Buzzers, not buttons. Buzzers that I never put the batteries in and we never used yet. This one is empty. This one has candy that I'll just randomly pull out. I had a parent who donated this like huge bag of candy. And then this is just some recess stuff. And then these are some wobble seats that they can come and get if they need. This is our sink area, which you can also see I'm using for storage up at the top. I buy a lot of those like photo keepers from Michael's when they're on sale. I haven't filled them all up yet this year, so they're just sitting up there. So fair warning, these cabinets are not super organized. So here's what's in the top. I keep extra Cheerios in case kids forget their snacks. I need to toss these before we come back because now at this point they're probably old. And then over here I have like cleaning, nothing fun. And I have extra masks and some sanitizer spray. These are posters that I got off of Teachers Pay Teachers. I don't know who made them. I really wish all TPT people would put their name on them because I can't remember who made these. This is my sink and it's not very interesting. But we use these placemats sometimes if we have snack inside, or I have them in another location that I use if we're doing something for art. I also keep soap here for them because they cannot reach that thing. That's my sink. I'm not going to show you underneath because I honestly don't even really know what's under there and I never go in there. So moving on, I have this area back here where I keep our Chromebooks. That area is messy and there's nothing really that you guys probably want to see. In here, this area is also a mess. This is pretty much what the old teacher had. I have some things that I used during classroom setup that I did not have room for, so they're just kind of thrown in here. And then some things that I wanted to store, I kind of put up there. Not ideal. I would like to have that closet more organized, but that's just the way it is. Moving on, I have my word work center and I have my writing center. This pocket chart did come in the classroom. It is double-sided, but I just used this side for right now. And let me explain how my word work is kind of set up. So this is the word work center. I have some books up on top that kind of go with the center, and then I have this little photo display. You can get one of these at Dollar Tree for $1, and I just kind of have the order they're supposed to do the center. So first they do their center folder, then they do brain builders, and then they have free choice. If you are curious about my center folders, check my Instagram. I have a whole post, actually probably a couple of posts dedicated to how I use these in my classroom. Okay, so first thing they do is their center folder, then they do their brain builders, which is anything that has this little brain tag, and then they can do free choice, which is these stars. I don't know if you can see right down here. The stars are more towards the bottom. So these are some of the options they have. These are all things that go in our pocket chart right here, so they can put the alphabet in order, they can match up pictures, letters, sounds, all those things. These are more task card type activities, so they can match the lowercase letter to the uppercase letter. They can practice writing and sequencing. They can practice writing their letters. Then over here, this is how I'm organizing my word work options, so basically for sight words. Some people have them in one of those 10-drawer carts where they can pull them out. This year I didn't really have the space, so I'm putting them in folders, and I actually really love it. So they grab a folder that they want to do. At this point I've only introduced 2 of them, so this is all I have. I'll just add another folder whenever I add another activity, but I have an example on the front, and then normally there's papers inside, but we finished all those. So I need to fill that back up for when the kids come. And then rainbow writing, which I taught literally right before they left, so organization. Next are these bins. I love using these bins for centers. I have alphabet blocks. This is an alphabet like stamp and write center. These are mini racer games. These are from the Kind-Hearted Classroom, and then these are, I don't know what they're called. They're from Move Mountains in Kindergarten, and it's basically they find the picture that starts with whatever letter it is, so they just put an eraser on top. Then at the bottom I have keyboards, so they can practice typing sight words or their name, and then some like puzzles and things like that. Also with our word work, my kids are using markers, and I just introduced these. They didn't even get to use them yet because I brought it out right before break. And then these are some pens that we use for writing, and this little bucket is where they put pencils that need to be sharpened. And this is all the pencils since literally the beginning of the year, because we mostly use pens. On the other side of word work, we have writing. Okay, my camera is freaking out, so I'm gonna switch to my phone. On the other side of word work, we have our writing center, which is set up in the same way. So I have my little sign there. They do their center folder, a brain builder, and then free choice. I have some books on top. These are some of their brain builders. This is for my higher students. These are just some writing lines. These are practicing. These are sentence mix and fix kinds of things, and then there's paper underneath where they can write them. So all sorts of different things that they can use. Over here, this is just options for writing, and it looks like a kid put their lovely art in there, so that's nice. Down there I have another brain builder, and that is for the pocket chart right over here. And then this is empty. Actually it has some things in it, but I just kind of pull them out when I need them. And on the table I have some CVC words that they can practice, so I put in another sheet every week that we learned one. Now that we've learned them all, I will probably display them somewhere. I'm just not sure where. So this is our cute little writing corner. These posters were originally over here, but I wanted to hang up our Writing Superstar poster. I have a song that goes with this. Check Instagram if you're curious what it sounds like. And then these are just references for drawing. I did mini lessons with all of those. And then this is from Move Mountains in Kindergarten. It is her writing center. I did not update it for December because the kids went home. So we're just in November perpetually. So this is the writing center. I did forget to mention this is our word work center. We're working on letter sounds, but we're also working on sight words. So I put all of our sight words up here. These are from iWords. I have an affiliate link in the description box if you want to try them. I am absolutely amazed at how quickly my kids are learning sight words. These really help. So it has a picture to go with the word, and then a movement, and then a phrase. So I did it: the ball, the car, do the dishes, my why. So it kind of goes through, and it really helps them. I love this. Up at the top we have these phonics posters. They're from Polka Dots. So hold on, her name is on there. They're from Polka Dots Please. And the main reason I wanted these on my wall, this is something that I would have absolutely done in first grade too, because they ask you all the time how to spell things. And so this is a really great tool to help them do that. I have finished going through all of our vowels, as you saw me just explain in writing, but now we're gonna go through and work on some rhymes. So yeah, all of our little rhyme word families are up there. We're obviously not gonna do them all, but it's really helpful that you can point to one and help them kind of find what they're looking for, and then they can write it on their own. Okay, so between the two centers, I have our math centers. Here's the thing. I'm only teaching 8 a.m. to 12:35 and I can barely fit in everything we need to do. So I haven't started math centers. It's something that I really wanted to do, but we just didn't get to it. So these are the ones that I have. I haven't really put them together. This is exactly what they had in them when I taught first grade. So those are some hundreds chart puzzles, roll and write activities. These were some number bond things. I just put them here because I knew this is where I wanted the math centers to be, but I haven't put my kindergarten math centers in there yet. And then these are some puzzles, some numbers, and these shape thing tiles. I don't remember what they're called, but this is where I'm storing them for right now. Oh, and my kids can put letters to me in this little thing that I got from Target. All right, moving on, we have our toys. If you've seen my videos this year, especially my classroom setup videos, you know this is something that I really struggled with. I inherited many toys from the previous teacher and I didn't want most of them. So this is what I have for our toys. I really like this system. This is the IKEA Trofast system, I think is what it's called. And it originally had a couple of different colored bins, different size bins. So I actually went ahead and purchased a couple more of these white bins. That way they would all be the same. And I wanted to have them as options for the kids. So you can see I've labeled them by group. So typically in my room, I have reading groups that are named after trees, and then I have math groups that are named after insects. This year we had to group our students into pods, so just went ahead and took their reading group names and made them their pod names this year. So I have sycamores, willows, fiddle leaves, which you can kind of see, and then sequoias. So you'll see these labels in other places in my room, and that's just telling the students that that is their group's materials and they can use those. They know they're not supposed to use someone else's materials because of germs and the pandemic. Top, I have some games. I'm not gonna show you like every little thing, but here's some things. These are a mix of things that the teacher before me had and things that I bought for my room. So there's just some options in there for them to play with. Let's move on to my area. This is my desk. Again, if you've seen my videos, you know I don't really like teacher desks because they just take up so much space. So I fit everything that I need right here in this little area, and I just sit at my small group table and it works for me. I guess we can start with a table. This table was already in here. It does match my color scheme, which is pretty darn lucky that it was green of all colors. These stools are from IKEA. They're okay, they're not perfect, but they also are $5, and I have 6 of them. This is where I keep my teacher backpack, just sits right there. Underneath here, honestly, this is just extra storage, has some center things that I'll pull out. And oh, I didn't even realize these things were in here. So this basket is normally a turn-in basket, and I love having my turn-in basket right by my teacher desk because I don't have to get up to go get their papers. They turn it in, and then at the end of the day, when I'm sitting there anyway, I can just grab it and grade or check it or star it or whatever I need to do. Behind the turn-in basket, which for right now, I'm just using it to throw the papers that we're doing because we're virtual. So I did that, not a student. Behind the turn-in basket, I have our center folder basket. So whenever their center folders are completely finished for the week, they will put them in this basket. And then behind here, I have an iPad that I normally charge up for the kids because it's easy for them to use, easier than the Chromebooks. And then I have my pencil sharpener, and this is the best pencil sharpener in the whole wide world. I have it in my Amazon storefront. My kids don't sharpen pencils, I sharpen pencils, and I really don't even sharpen pencils. So, all right, coming around to the other side, we have basically small group things. And normally not all of these things are here, but because I'm virtual again, this is what it looks like. So I have whiteboards, I have our sight word cards, which normally when we were in person, these were in my easel over there because I was teaching whole group. But now that we're back online, I need things to be within my reach. So these are just some things that I use for teaching. These are magnetic letters and some dry erase sleeves that we used for small group. I had to wipe them down and sanitize them between groups, and then some extra small group things. So this isn't completely organized, but it's also kind of just serving different purposes as I need them. So here is my desk area. Up at the top, I keep our standards, the standards we're working on. It's not required by my school, but it helps me plan, and then I just display them up there. Then I have a little shelf that I just put whatever I feel like on. These are my smelly spots that I can't even use this year. This sign is from Simply Stained shop. These are gifts from students. That was a gift from the first grade teacher. And then we have my teacher toolbox. This was also a gift from a student. I've already talked about my toolbox. I do keep lotion and hand sanitizer near me because I'm constantly using these two things. This is my favorite hand sanitizer. It is from Grove. I also keep a little fan back here because I can get hot pretty easily. Right now I'm actually freezing, but pretty strong little fan, and I really like it for distance learning. I get sweaty when I teach online, so that's why I have this. Then over here we have my little bell, which normally she sits right here, and if my students get too loud during centers, I just ring it one time and they know to kind of bring down the volume. But because we are teaching virtual again, she's just gonna sit right there. And then I have a little IKEA plant in this mug that the teacher next door gave me, and then our radio. All right, here is the shelf. I just have some desk supplies, which this normally has pop-it post-it notes, but I ran out and I never buy them. And then I have Lysol, Skittles that I can't use, Rhyme Magic, which I love, it's my favorite thing in the whole wide world, Haggerty, which I love, it's my other favorite thing, and then a little guided reading book. And then down at the bottom, this is kind of like where all my files are. So these are all from last year, but as you'll see, I don't really have any storage space in the classroom, so they're here for right now. I will say I do pull out my lesson planner from first grade just to kind of like see where I was in the year, so that's kind of fun. These are my binders from this year, and they are not labeled. I do not have it all together. I do have a cover on some of them. Some of them have a cover, but the spines are not labeled. So I have one for guided reading, I have one for running records, I have one for math groups, I have one for assessments, just all sorts of things. Here's the full Rhyme Magic kit. These are my Unifix cubes, and then this is just random stuff. And this is where I keep like our assessments. I just keep them all in these. Next we have my guided reading cart. I love storing my guided reading materials for each group in this cart. I really, really do. Up on top, this is where I keep my supplies. So I have my favorite rose gold scissors, lots of flare pens. I have these little lights. This is for small group. I have a stamp because I stamp all of my students' papers. This is like my #1 teaching thing. The drawers on top are for reading, and the drawers on bottom are for math groups. And I have them organized by pod, so their pod is their small group, and I'll have to be careful so you don't see names. So this is an example of like what I keep in it, just like books that we're doing, and then their little guided reading journals that we use for like writing prompts. And then my one up top, like I'll keep different things that I'm using for that group that week. This is my fridge. This is from New Air. I love it. It's actually a beverage fridge, which is why you can see into it. I have a couple, oh, you know what? I have pudding in there. I didn't even realize I still had that. Well, okay, I thought it was empty. I have pudding in there, and then I have these things that I normally have filled with like food. We are currently on winter break. It's actually Christmas Eve today, but my husband's working, so I thought I would just film the tour for you guys. I'm gonna take these home and wash them and refill them. Actually, let me know if you want me to make a video of like stocking my fridge for when we come back. I keep water back here because I'm always dehydrated, and then just like gum and forks. So this is that area. I also have this little cup holder. Michelle from Pocket Full of Primary mentioned these like forever ago when I bought one, and I've never looked back. Another thing I have is my clipboard. This is my tracker. I always keep this with me. I'm covering up student names right now, and this is how I keep track of everything. Again, you can check Instagram to see how I use it. I have a post dedicated to it where I explain it in detail, and if you don't use this already, you need to get on the system because it is the best. I also have a new sweatshirt that's coming to my Etsy. It's actually launching today when you watch this video. You know what? I'll try it on for you, okay? So I'm keeping this in my classroom because I get cold. I'm actually freezing right now, you can't tell. So I'm gonna put it on, but this is gonna stay in my classroom and I can just throw it on if I get cold. I feel like every teacher has like a sweatshirt or something in their classroom, and I never brought one. So that's gonna be my cold sweatshirt. Also, this shirt that I'm wearing right now that says Kiss Your Brain is an original Etsy shirt by me. It's in there if you want to get it. Also, this shirt I'm wearing right now that says Kiss Your Brain is an original shirt by me, and it's in my Etsy shop. Also, there's another one that goes with it. That's Smarty Pants. That's super cute. So if you like teacher t-shirts, check out my shop. I'm gonna plug it because I love it. I'm not to get makeup on it. Here you go. I also ordered this in a super duper large because I wanted it to be oversized enough to where I could be comfy in the classroom and slip it over whatever I was wearing. So super cute. Now let's move on to one of my favorite parts of my classroom always, my classroom library. I'm in love with the way this turned out this year. Here she is in all of her glory. I will say this is my flexible seating furniture that I normally have out in the room, but can't really do that right now. So it's currently here, and I don't know what I am going to do with this area once this is gone, but I'm not worried about it. So this is a rug that I got from Rugs USA. I love it. It's my favorite. This cart is from IKEA, and normally it has my reading buddies in it, but I'm using it as like a quarantine book cart, which doesn't matter anymore because the kids are not in the classroom. This shelf back here that is absolutely gorgeous was already in the room. I added labels and I added matching bins on the bottom of it, kind of styled the top with some plants and some books, and a letterboard that has nothing on it because it just wasn't a priority. And there's a pirate hook behind there and I don't know why. Is that a tapestry or is it a weaving? I don't know. To make it cute and cozy. And then I got this wooden decor piece from Target, and I used my Cricut to put Once Upon a Time on it, and I think it is the most adorable thing. The most adorable thing. And then I have some books that we've read together up at the top and some little plants. As far as the bookshelf goes, normally in the top I'll put like decodables or some smaller chapter books for kids that can read them, some very simple ones. I don't have anything in there right now, just didn't get to it. So there's just some books down here. I'll go ahead and show you all my categories you can read, so I'll let you just see them. Okay. And then I have this rolling display bookshelf that's actually two-sided. So during COVID, what my students do is they are assigned a shelf. So there's 3 of these white bookshelves, and then one of these. I have 4 groups, so they each would just get like a shelf every week, and that's just how I did it for COVID. Also, normally in my library, I would have my Nugget, but my Nugget is at home right now because I couldn't really use that during COVID. So yeah, that's my library. These are the anchor charts. Sorry, not anchor charts. These are the posters that I made for my kids. I think these have been so effective. Also, hear me out. Not everything I make is cute like that. These were obviously made, well, ahead of time, but I did a little bit with them. But we do have anchor charts that we create together as a class that are messy, that they come up, that they write on, but those aren't displayed in the classroom. These are mostly just to help them remember concepts. And I know every time I ask my kids, is this book fiction or nonfiction? They look at the chart, it helps them. And I think one of the things that makes them so helpful is the headings are nice and big, the words are nice and big. You can read this from across the room and there's very few words, and I also highlighted words. So they probably can read these anchor charts by themselves. Just kind of backing up to show you, it's really important to me to have things that are on the wall be useful to them. So I'm not gonna write something really tiny to where they couldn't see it if they were, you know, sitting in their area over there. So these are really awesome. And then I have my little Be Kind letters. These letters I think were from Hobby Lobby, and this was from, I don't know, maybe Michael's, maybe another place that sells those things. I can't remember. Oh, I also have fairy lights going all the way around. kind of sagging right there, but that's okay. These are from Amazon. And that takes us into our whole group area. I have some more anchor charts up there. These we use all the time. And because we're virtual, all I did was take pictures of my anchor charts and I just put them like in my PowerPoint slides, so we still use them. All right, so here is the other side of this bookshelf. This is where I would keep our read alouds. It's December, obviously, so we have some December read alouds, and I'm gonna be introducing What Should Danny Do to Them. I'm gonna be introducing What Should Danny Do to Them, my favorite books. What Should Danny Do? What Should Danny Do on Vacation, which is the new one. What Should Darla Do? And What Should Danny Do School Day. So love those books. This is where I keep all of my personal read alouds. A lot of these were donated to my classroom from you guys, and I cannot tell you how grateful I am. So if I just pick a book, like this one, this is Maddie from Primarily Yours. It's her favorite book. It was donated to us by Alma. So thank you, Alma. We actually did read this book together and they loved it. I'm gonna get it back in there. So yeah, if you've donated to my classroom, I really, really appreciate it. I have some seasonal books in here, and then some of these books in here. And then these I bought off of Amazon. I don't remember what they're called. I used to use these for sight words. I never did it this year just because of like COVID, and it was another thing the students would have to have. But basically what you do is you give them this little thing and like an index card or a piece of paper, and they can write the sight word, but as they're writing it, they can feel it. So they're feeling it as they write it because this is like textured and it's supposed to help them. And I really liked it in first grade. I just never got to it this year. This is what's on top of the shelf. Oh, you know what? I actually put away all my Christmas decorations and I forgot about this little guy. Well, that's okay. This is what I used at the beginning of the year for mystery letter with my kids when we were doing alphabet boot camp. Okay, there's some things in there. Didn't know that. Then these are mini erasers that we use for math manipulatives. And I kind of skipped over this shelf over here. I've talked about it before. This is where I keep basically like community supplies. So I have pencils in here. They can just come and grab a pencil if they need it. These are whiteboard markers. They really don't get these. We've been using clean slates. These boards that they just keep, they have a marker and a little microfiber cloth in. And then I have some post-it notes that are good for exit tickets and quick checks for understanding. And then some dice that are good for just whatever. And here I have my base 10 block kits. We have not used these yet in kindergarten. I don't know if we're going to. These are where I normally keep counters, but they just have their counters in their crates. It's pretty much empty. And then these are clipboards that we use sometimes, not every day. We pretty much just use them on Fridays. So by the time next Friday rolls around, the germs are not on the clipboards. So I just keep these all together. And then these are the whiteboards that we really don't use this year because I have those clean slates boards that were donated to us by Clean Slates. All right, let's see. This lamp is from, I don't remember. This is from PCS thing in the military. This is from, I want to say Target, maybe Walmart, I don't know. Then I have this little whiteboard that has our calendar, which still says November. That is actually magnetic, and I can change the days or whatever. I should change it to January at this point, but who knows when it'll be changed. These are our voice lights. So 0, voice off. 1 is whisper. 2 is like table talk, I guess is what you call it. Normal talk pretty much. And then here is our schedule. One of these times is wrong actually. It's this one. Recess is 11:20 to 11:40, but I put it in there wrong and I haven't fixed it and they don't know. So that's what that is. The calendar and the schedule cards are in my TPT if you like the design. Okay, so up at the top I have these number posters. I'm missing number 20. It fell behind the whiteboard in my last room. I was gonna print it for the classroom tour, but like I told y'all, this is real, it's not staged, and I'm missing the number 20. So I have Groot up here. I got him from Disney. He's super cute. He has like a little magnetic butt, and you can put the magnetic thing underneath. And you can sit like on your shoulder. Isn't that so cute? I wanted to use him as like a little like watcher. Like if we were like walking somewhere, he could like, well, you know, watch my line. I don't know. Or maybe like put him on my shoulder like when I'm teaching and have him like pick kids. Because you can kind of make it look like he's like whispering. But I never used it. So he just sits up on my board. I'm going to because he's adorable. This is my smartboard, and I don't really use it as a smartboard because I don't like the software at all, but I do have my kids sign in. So I talked about this before, but in my last classroom, I had a whiteboard and the projector projected onto the whiteboard, and it was awesome because they could write all over it. It was great. It was wonderful. This year I have a smartboard, which is fine, but it's not as convenient as having a whiteboard. So what I do have are these little whiteboard magnetic pieces. They were actually already in the classroom, so I was lucky. And my kids just sign their names on here. So I have a PowerPoint, you've seen it before, it projects their names and they just trace them every morning. It's great practice. You want kindergartners to write their name as many times as they can during the day. So this is just another way to do that. Down at the bottom I have a number line, which I actually forgot to talk about my number line and my alphabet. So these are from Holly Griffith. I love her design style. So the number posters up here are Holly Griffith. The number line is Holly Griffith. I just printed an extra set 0 through like 23 of what I have over here. So I like it. These are some posters that I got off TPT that go with that poster over there. Here's my cord situation. Honestly, this one is supposed to be like up there, but it's kind of falling. Anyways, the idea was I got this outlet cover. That way I could kind of like hide the wires for the most part. So I didn't have wires coming like straight down here on the number line because I like to have kids come up to the number line. So the idea was to not have cords right here. And now these, I need to just rig them better so they hide, but that's the situation. It's not cute. If you go from this angle though, you can't tell. All right, so this is my little teaching area right here. Like I said, we are virtual right now. But I put this laptop here because you've already seen my virtual setup over on my small group table. You've seen it in other videos. So I wanted to show you what it was like whenever we were here in person. So I just moved my little laptop thing over here, and that way my laptop is up and out of the way, and I have all of this area to use when I'm teaching. I do teach from an interactive PowerPoint, so I have it here. I can use it, navigate it. It's displayed right here. And then this is kind of all the things that I use for teaching, and I usually keep papers underneath that we are using. I have my Hue document camera that I plug into my computer. I have a whiteboard, a little schedule, sentence strips, a microphone, my Apple TV remote, just different things that I use for teaching that I want to be nearby me. So it's on this nightstand that I got from clearance at Target. And then I have extra Unifix cubes in here, and then what are these called? They're like I don't know what they're called. You know what they are. And because this is a nightstand, it does open up. So I have some like fidget toys in here, some extra erasers, and Smarties that I forgot I had. Oh, also, I don't know why I put this in the drawer. That goes up here. Why did I put that in the drawer? Oh, I had to replace the magnets on the back. So this is what this area looks like. I also hang my newsletter for the week up here. That way I can just glance up and see, you know, what I'm doing. So that is this area. Have a cute little plant from Target. The rug itself is from Lakeshore. It is the largest rug. I think it's a 9 by 12. I fell in love with this rug when I saw it on their website, and I knew it would make my classroom just come together. I don't feel like my classroom would have the same vibe without this rug, and I really love that it brings in nature into the classroom. So this is the best thing ever. And you can see on the rug I have little sit spots so that they can still come to the rug. So they're just grouped by their little pods. And then over here I have my easel. This was a DIY. Originally these pieces were green and I spray painted them white and rose gold, and I love the look. I use Crayolas when I make anchor charts. These go with my little 10 frames. They are magnetic. Normally I have my sight words in here, but because I'm teaching virtually, they're back there. And then yeah, just some little things in here. So I normally will use one side for math. So I'll just use this as a whiteboard for math. And then I'll use the other side for anchor charts. And I can take it off if I need to and just hang a chart up there if I wanted to. I'm really proud of the way this easel transformation came out. And then I didn't mention that I was hanging these with actual push pins and paper clips. So that's how those are hanging up there. And it's really nice because when the students are sitting on the carpet, they can just look up and see them, or if they are coming up to the smartboard for something, they can just look up and see it. So having these anchor charts here is really, really helpful. Next, I have kind of my little storage area. My closet is a mess. I'm not gonna take you on a closet tour. I will show you the inside right now. For one, it's messy. For two, it's boring, and we don't wanna sit through that. So I'll just show you what it looks like. We do have a mirror. This was actually already in the classroom, and I like that it's here. Cute sweatshirt. Come check it out in my Etsy store. You guys know when I got to this classroom, this closet was filled. And so this is what it looks like with all of my stuff and still some of the stuff from the old teacher, because hasn't been like completely cleaned out. So all right, so I did make this like a little book room area back here. Very proud of that. I have my scoop rockers, which I couldn't really use this year, and then just a lot of things. So yeah, this is my storage. Like, this is mine. And then these things are mine. They're not organized because I just didn't have space to organize them. These are mine. These are my reading buddies. And then that's like my Christmas tree. But like everything else was already in here. And I just don't have the energy, to be quite honest with you, to go through it and toss it. So I do use some of the stuff that's in here, but a lot of it I don't use. I just can't go through it. So this closet is what it is. So I keep the pretty storage out here. I did label these finally. I need to print labels for this one. These are push pins, but here's, oh, and the golf clickers. If you have questions, let me know. You can get supplies on sale after, you know, the school year starts and everything kind of goes on sale, or right before the school year starts. I have down here my watercolors. This is my school supplied laptop that I don't use. And then this is my Dojo Leader box. I talked about this during my classroom setup videos. So this is how it turned out. This container is really big. It's from Michael's. It has a little section up at the top. This, I didn't put anything in here yet, but I think I'm gonna put some like mini erasers in here. So I have pencils, erasers, stickers, and then like actual prizes. So that's in here. This is where I keep like my personal items. I don't really know what's in here because I haven't, oh, well, I don't really even use that, but it's there. So I just need to remember that it's there. This is a cape from What Should Danny Do, when the authors sent us that book. And then this is where I have like my student of the week. So my last student of the week is here, but I turned him around so you can't see him. And then some coupons are displayed that we are using. This little wreath was from Target as well. And then this cart is from Michael's. The same thing as that cart back there. I do need to label it. I use it as kind of like a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday paper system. And then the bottom just has like random things in it. I need to label it. And then I have this that I was gonna use to like plan out my month, because I guess I thought my life was gonna be more together than it is, because I haven't used this. Easier, I think, next year after I've already taught kindergarten, but I am just not like a full month planned in advance. So this is, yeah, this is mostly empty. And then I have, oh, my math centers that I printed because I thought we were gonna be here in person, but we're not. So I'm gonna turn them digital. So little task cards. These are by they're by Miss Kindergarten, and I really like them. Let me try to show you. There's all sorts of things that they can do. And then we have our Grab and Go Art Center, and if you watch my classroom setup videos, I was dead set on having this, and we really don't have time in the day to do this except for like one day a week. I still like it. I still think it's gonna be awesome when school is like fully back to normal, but this is what it looks like. So I just have some construction paper out there. I'm gonna put Play-Doh in here, and then these are some like Play-Doh tools, and then there's some stencils and stickers. Books on the top with some crayons, and this wooden thing that I got from Target that I love. And it's also right under the colors. That worked out so nice. I love it. Okay, I'll step back so you can kind of see the wall. So I have my colors over here, and then on the right side I have my shape posters. I also have my Friends of Five song. Check Instagram if you want to hear it. It's to the tune of Frozen. And then this is they're kind of like my class rules. So I always make this anchor chart: be a leader, not a boss. And these are some of the things that we talk about. Last year, this was outside of my door, but I can't really do that this year, so it's just here. But it makes this area look very fancy. I have my director and my helper, and then this poster that's in my TPT for free if you want it. And then I have our STEM bins, some STEM books, and our counting bins down at the bottom. So I already mentioned that I teach with a PowerPoint, so my students will come in, they'll sign their name on the board, And then when I taught first grade, I had two kind of like prompts, and they would come in and they would grab a STEM bin. So here's this one. These labels are in my Teachers Pay Teachers store. They all have different things. So these are the little hashtag toys from Target. These are Magnetiles, which are awesome. I have shape tiles, I have Play-Doh, I have Unifix cubes, I don't know what these are called. These things. I have Wiki sticks in here, and I have like two STEM bins that have the same thing. That way it's not like an argument over, oh, I want this, because there's multiple ones. So when I was in first grade, they would come in the morning, grab a STEM bin and start building. But this year I'm doing things a little bit differently. So they come in and they have a counting cup. I talked about these in my classroom setup, and they just count the pieces that are in there. And then after that, we do morning journals. So STEM bins are more kind of like a free choice kind of thing right now. I really like them. I think STEM bins are something that I'm going to transition to after winter break, but I really liked starting the year with these counting cups. So each of the counting cups have about 15 to 25-ish items. I basically just counted them to make sure there weren't too many in there, but they're all different. And what I do is in the mornings, I'll put the counting cups on their crates. So they just come in and they just go ahead and get started counting. Just because of like COVID and everything, and I need to make sure that a group is not like getting a different one and that they're sanitized. Otherwise I would just let them come in and choose their own counting bin. So I've talked about all of that. This is a table that doesn't really have a set purpose. We use it sometimes. Sometimes my kids will use the STEM bins at this table, but it doesn't really have like a full purpose, and that's okay. I also already talked about my printer, but I should also point out I have some trays here. We use these when we did like pumpkin seed counting, but I sometimes put them in with my sight words for my word work center. Ignore my ring light. And then this was going to be a cute anchor chart for Gingerbread Man week, and I never made it, so it just sits there. Next, I have these shelves. These were already in the classroom. They were holding a bunch of toys over there, and I repurposed them because I love using these ice cube bins from Walmart as my book bin. So I just made some very simple labels, and normally my students would keep like all of their supplies in these book bins, but for right now it just has their center folders. There are a couple of students who were not here in person with us, so those are just notebooks that I made them that they never got. So I turned all their center folders around so you can't see them because of names, but this is what they look like. Again, you can check Instagram for how I use them. So we do use these in the classroom, but most of the student supplies are in their crates. So let me turn around. This is our situation right now for COVID and having pods. This is the shape that I started with, and then I switched it up to like this. I like this formation better because they don't really slide as much. These are constantly being, all over the place. So I like this better, but I just wanted to switch it up for my kids. So I have sit spots to tell them where to sit. Obviously it doesn't make sense with these. The sit spots have been a lifesaver, and I'll show you what's in their crates. Well, I'll mostly show you what's in their crates. We are on break, and since we're gonna be virtual probably whenever we come back from break, I sent home some of their things, so I'll just show you what's left. So their crates open either like this, or they'll open like this, just depending on like where. But this is what's in here. So, there's a pencil and a crayon. And I emptied their counters and I sent them home in a different bin. That way those could not get lost. Then I have these whiteboards, and then I have their morning journal and their writing journal in there, which you can't really see. So journals just have names on them, so I don't really want to show you like too close. So my other flexible seating things that I normally have are back here. So I have a standing table, which is that dining table, and then I have like a kneeling table, which is this black coffee table, and then I have small brown tables that I use for like individual or partner work, and then just other tables can be used as well. So this room is not like my perfect room right now. These crates get messy. We clean them almost every other day. They get that messy, which is one of the reasons why I did not want desks in the first place, but you have to do what you have to do. So I like them for the purpose that they serve, but I prefer flexible seating 100%. And the only reason I have these crates in here is because I wanted to give my students the I guess, ability to move to different spots. So they'll work at their crates or they'll work at their centers. So there's two options. And then sometimes we come to the carpet and then sometimes we just spread out. So those are different options, and that's the best I can do right now because I can't do full flexible seating. And that is why I have extra crates here just in case, you know, I got more students. So that's what that is. I can't show you the Chromebooks because of names. And then I have this little chair, which is kind of like my cool down chair. This comes in handy. Honestly, this is not the best spot, and I wanted to make it more of like a cozy and comfortable area, but for right now, this was the only space I really had to put like a calm down area. And it does help because students can get away from everything. Usually, you know, we'll be over there and they can just come down over here, cool down, and they're good. All right, you guys, this is my 2020-2021 classroom tour. I hope you enjoyed it. I love this space and I can't wait to see how my classroom changes over the years. But for right now, I love this space. It feels like a second home to me. I love being in here with my students and making memories. This is truly me in a classroom, and no, it's not perfect. There's still a lot of things even in here that I need to go through and sort through, but no teacher's classroom is gonna be perfect. I hope you at least got a little bit of inspiration from mine. Let me know your favorite part. Thank you for liking, commenting, and subscribing, and I'll see you in the next one.